Hey, hello again. Well, I'm out walking along the beautiful Puyallup River. It's close to where I live, maybe 20 miles away. Beautiful walk along the river here. Some beautiful scenery. We've had a lot of rain recently. We've got some sunlight today, so I'm out looking for a place to set up and do a quick plein air painting. I've driven along this road, the Orville Road, over the Puyallup River a number of times, and I just get a glimpse of this little area, little river bend with some cliff face, beautiful rocks and moss and trees. And even though it's kind of close to the road, I thought maybe I could find a place to set up and paint. And sure enough, there's lots of pretty things to paint here. Lots of pine trees, lots of beautiful deciduous trees, moss, sunlight on crystal clear water. This is a beautiful spot. I may come back for this. I'm going to keep walking a little bit though. It's right beside the road, so it might be a little noisy, but it sure is pretty. Typical west of the Cascades scenes. Here's a potential scene right here. The river going under the bridge. That would be kind of interesting. The shadow of the bridge offers kind of a neat light effect. I like how the rapids go in and out of the shadow. This is a nice view too. The river kind of coming toward us, but also sweeping by us, and those rapids in the foreground. The far riverbank has a beautiful deep pool and some moss-covered old trees. I love these cloudy days where you get some sunlight and some cloud shadows. Clouds are beautiful. It really offers some neat lighting situations. Seems like when it's really just socked in and overcast, everything's kind of dull, and that's a little more challenging. But also when it's bright sunlight, that can be challenging as well. It can be hard to overcome that just flat, bright light. That's a pretty scene. Let me try to find a little easier way down that slope to the riverbank. Well, this is a really beautiful spot. There's lots of opportunities for paintings here. And with the rapids, I don't think it's going to matter a whole lot what the sun does. If it goes behind clouds or comes out, the rapids are going to provide some pretty value patterns. And that far cliff wall is really pretty as well. It's a little noisy here by the river. I hope you can hear me okay. At least it's a pretty sound, and it's almost drowning out the sound from the road behind me. Litter on the ground. I don't know why people come to a beautiful place like this and litter. Does not make sense to me. Boy, that's really gorgeous that way, isn't it? We got a river flowing away from us. Especially the way the sun is hitting those trees in the distance. That is really pretty. Now the sun's come out and it's throwing some light on those rapids. Gorgeous spot. It's about the third week in March. Stuff is starting to bud out. Nothing in bloom right here, but there's lots of vibrant colors with the new leaves on the trees. Alright, well, I'm going to try to make up my mind here what I want to paint. There's a lot to choose from. Should be a nice spot. It's kind of easy to get back to the truck from here, so I can take my time. I may have to come back here with a little larger panel. Alright, well, I'm going to take some pictures and try to come up with the composition. Choose a place I want to paint. I need a nice flat spot so I won't trip while I'm painting. Here's the scene I'm going to paint. I just love this deep, calm pool in the foreground. A little bit of rapids as the river heads away. And then that beautiful lone pine sticking up, standing proud on that little far bank. When the light hits it just right, it's really dramatic too. So I want to try to capture that. When the light is on those hills behind that pine, it silhouettes it and makes a really dramatic composition. So that's what I'm going for. Today I'm working on a Gorilla Painter oil primed linen panel. They were on sale on Judson's Art Supply, I think, and just to try them out. So that'll be a little bit of an experiment today. I'm also going to skip the charcoal sketch step. I'm just going to go directly from there into the turpentine wash. I've been wanting to try that and see if I could skip that step of doing the charcoal sketch. Quick rundown on my palette. I'm using the Joshua Bean Day Tripper. I've been using it for a couple months now, and I really like it. It's got the glass palette, which is really a pleasure to use. I've got some Winsor Newton Artist Turpentine here. A little liquid in this cup. Titanium white, ivory black, cold gray, cerulean blue, cobalt blue, ultramarine blue, sap green, burnt umber, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, cad red, cad yellow. This is yellow lemon from Winsor Newton, and yellow ochre. I may not use all these colors, but I put them out just so I had them. And I'm also putting out a lot of color. I'm going with an 11 by 14 inch panel. I don't want to have to stop and get more out. So I've got the 1/3 lines sketched on in charcoal, and I'll try to place the interesting points in the scene somewhere near the intersections of those 1/3 lines. So out in the scene, I'm going to try to place this little jut of rock here on the lower 1/3 line. So something like that. And I'm going to try to place this lone pine on the 1/3 line over on the left hand side, and then just let everything else kind of fall around that. Alright, well, I'll start with the turpentine wash. Start with this big, soft bristle brush. It's an old Utrecht, number 12, so it's a little over 1 inch wide. Working in nice and soft. Still not soft enough for the later layers of paint though. It's still too stiff. It would remove the paint. As always, thanks so much for joining me. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. So first up, turpentine wash. I dilute my paint with a lot of artist turpentine. Just kind of scrub in the composition really quick. And also lay down a background tone on the panel. I want to kill the white of the panel so it's a little easier to judge value. And it also gives me a nice guide to go by as I lay in the full final color. In this scene today, I'm seeing a lot of burnt sienna. Those freshly budding trees have a lot of warm color to them, so I think the burnt sienna throughout most of the painting will work nicely. I'll put in some burnt umber as well too, just to darken things, and maybe a little alizarin crimson. I want to stay on the warm side, keep everything kind of warm in the underpainting. That way as I paint the cool shadows over that underpainting, it'll set up a nice vibration, make it really vibrant. I want to gray out that background quite a bit. So when I start mixing up the background colors, I want to keep them really light and gray. I use Rembrandt Cool Gray to help me. It's kind of a shortcut, but really that is just ivory black and titanium white, so you can make your own pretty easily. I'll throw in a little bit of cobalt blue for the sky. I have just a little bit of the sky showing in my composition. So I'll throw that in first and probably leave most of that. I'll take a slightly smaller brush, a little stiffer brush with a little bit of turpentine and wipe away the lightest lights. After it's set up a bit, I'll take that same big bristle brush, I'll wipe out most of the turpentine and most of the paint and just softly blend everything. You can see the wash is making some really cool effects on this oil primed panel. I'm liking how it's flowing into the weave of the linen. It's moving around a lot. It's a little warmer today than it has been recently, so things are moving around more because of that as well. But yeah, it's setting up some kind of neat abstract things that I'm going to try to play with and leave if I can. If it works with the composition, it'll make a kind of neat abstract element in the painting. Wherever I can, I want to leave that underpainting showing. And of course, that's not a lot because those are some pretty warm, vibrant colors on there for an early spring landscape painting. But you know, there may be some places where I can let that underpainting show through and create some interest. Alright, I've got an interesting value pattern there now, I feel, with that bright, high-key background and the silhouetted trees, especially that one lone pine. And then some interesting stuff going on in the foreground, but really it's going to be a pretty flat and not so obtrusive foreground. I want that to be a nice smooth area to lead the eye to the excitement, which is that pine. So now I'll start to mix up the colors for the background. I'll start with the sky. I am going to mix up just a little bit of color for the sky because it's such an interesting gray lavender. It's mostly gray with just a hint of bluish lavender. I want to mix that up. I also think I want to capture the light on the clouds as well, which is, again, it's almost colorless. It's so far away. It's a white with just a hint of yellow, but the shadow, it's so hard to describe. The shadow in the highlight, there's a bright part which is yellow, and there's a dimmer part which is more blue. So I want to try to gather those and put them down quickly, and the light is constantly changing here with the sun going in and out behind the clouds. So I'm going by memory somewhat. So after I get the colors for the sky, I'll get the colors for that background hill, which are vibrant. When I'm standing here and the sun's on them, they're vibrant, but I can't paint them that vibrant. I want to gray them down to push them back in the landscape. And then I want to stick to the value pattern that I have established here. I don't want to go too far away from that. So that'll be a good guide for me. I'll get as far as I can here while I still have some light, and finish it up back in the studio. Colors mixed up here now for the background hill, the darkest trees, the lighter green trees, some lavender shadows, some lighter greenish yellow trees, and then the lightest yellow trees. And then I may hit just some almost pure white in there with the knife to indicate where the sun is hitting the tree trunks. I've also got a little bit of a warm gray here for that warm light hitting the new leaves on those deciduous trees back there. I just want to knock this in quickly with a big brush. Just hint at it. The light's changing fast now. Alright, well there's the background hill in, very roughly just daubed in with a large brush, just to hint at the colors. I can clean it up a little bit more in the studio, but I kind of like the soft patterns there. Now I want to try to capture the silhouettes of that lone pine and the pines right beside it, the center of interest for the painting, and then I'll keep moving forward. What a beautiful afternoon out here on the river. This is the lovely Puyallup River, and had a great day. It's kind of it's the third week of March, so it's still kind of chilly. The sun went behind the hill behind me, and it really got cold here. The wind's picking up a little bit as well, but I just had a beautiful time. Let me show you the painting. Here's the end result. I went with an 11 by 14 inch panel. I think there's some nice things working here. I like this foreground pool, nice and calm and dark like I wanted it. And even the ripples, the waves on the water, they're really just dashed in, very rough, just suggested, but they read well, I think. It reads like a nice flat, calm river rolling away. And then I think it works, this tree being the center of interest. I think it kind of draws your eye there because it's standing out against the light suggested soft hill in the background. I got pretty lucky. The light stayed pretty consistent. You can see it's quite a bit darker now. Not the same at all as when I first got here, but close enough that I was able to go by memory and capture that feeling of light coming through broken clouds. I'll take it back to the studio and clean it up just a little bit. may add just a little more detail to that background hill of trees. It's a little too rough in my opinion, but we'll see. Well, I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as well. As always, if you like these videos, please let me know in the comments below. Share it with a friend. If you really want to support the channel, jump over to my Patreon page. I have extended videos and tutorials, more commentary. And of course here on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And I'll see you out on the trail.